There are a few huge glaring issues that I see with the personal brand and make money on social media space that I think need to be addressed. So today we are going to be breaking down exactly what I've seen over multiple years and millions of dollars generated on social media as to why people may not be getting results on social media and with a personal brand. Now, the number one issue I see is people that don't already have a business or they don't already have a winning offer trying to figure out some way to make money on social media. This doesn't work. Unless you're trying to be an influencer like Eric or Mr. Beast, you need to start with being a business owner. Now, if you already own a multiple 6 or 7, 8, 9, even 10-figure business, and you understand that we're in the attention economy, that attention is the new oil, that is when we can actually have a conversation about building a personal brand. Now, having a personal brand on social media, owning your own audience, having a sphere of influence is monumentally important. It can absolutely exponentially increase results, and it can decrease your client acquisition costs. So there's a lot of benefits of having a personal brand on social media, but that only comes with a foundation of having an existing business. So let's say you're one of the people watching this video that does have a business. You're already making 6 figures with an industry specialized service. Let's say you run a real estate investment fund, you do sustainable energy solution consulting, or a million different other ways that you can make money. Let's say you have an offer teaching people how to do leverage trading on the internet. You're helping people Airbnb properties they don't own. Let's say you just have a specialized service, or even we could say stem cell therapy. You run a stem cell therapy clinic. So if you have a valuable offer that you know actually sells, that people are willing to buy, that people have already done business with you, and you've sold this offer before, then building a personal brand has a couple other caveats that people don't take into account. The biggest reason I see personal founders or business founders not getting the success that they want out of social media is they expect it to be easy. They see all these 18-year-old kids, 19-year-old kids building 100,000 follower brands on social media, or their competitors with 1 million fake followers on Instagram or 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and just expecting it just came overnight. Where's this simple process? It's the same thing with getting a six-pack or anything else in life. It takes hard work, dedication, and consistency to get the results that you're looking for. So let's just actually break this down. If you have a business that works and you understand that it will take a commitment, it will take consistency and dedication to build up a personal brand, we can actually break down what those commitments might look like, so you actually are informed going into the process. But before we get into that, the last thing that I want to really highlight as a gap is the clear content strategy. It's devastating, heartbreaking even, when I encounter a founder of a company who has subject matter expertise. They've added a ton of value into the world by building a multi-million-dollar company that actually serves clients and gets results. And then they start posting on social media, hoping to build this brand. And number one, either they're not consistent, they're not committed, they're not putting in the time and attention required. Or number two, and this is what I see a lot with personal brands and company founders, is they're not creating the right type of content. And so it's almost like there's like this translation where it's speaking a different language, where in their workplace, in their business, they have this subject matter expertise and they're passionate about it, and they'll nerd out about all of the different ways that the product or the service that they offer helps people, all of the benefits it has. But then when it comes to social media, it's like they clam up and people get insecure, or all of these different deeper like psychological issues or traumas come up. And what ends up happening is these founders start talking about all of the success they've had, or they start flexing the people they know, or they start talking about something totally off topic, like their family, or their, like all of these things that have no relevance to their ideal client. And what ends up happening, or they're just doing motivational content. What ends up happening is their content starts going out to the wrong audience. And so they start attracting all of these people that they're not interested in working with, that are not within their ideal client profile. So a couple of things that we need to address is, number one, creating content for the right type of people. And number two, we need to address the commitment required and the dedication required to building a personal brand on social media. So something I've seen across all of the greats on social media, whether it's Tony Robbins or Russell Brunson or Alex Hormozi is the understanding of the commitment required to creating a brand. Now, Alex Hormozi is arguably the best to do it so far in terms of building a personal brand around him as a business owner and using that as a way to attract ideal clients and bring in new deal flow for their company. Now, what has made Alex Hormozi so successful in this is, number one, he understood the commitment required for this. Creating content on the internet is a challenge. And so the same as going into, oh, hey, I want a six-pack. Well, let's disillusion that by, are you willing to count your calories? Are you willing to hit your macros? Are you willing to go to the gym at least 4 times a week, be active and walk 10,000 steps every day? Because if you're not willing to, at bare minimum, hit your protein goals, walk 10,000 steps a day and go to the gym consistently, you're not going to get the results required. So the same thing with social media. If you're not willing to record content at least 1 time a week, prepare for that content, script it out, plan on what you're recording, and then actually publish that content, well, you're not going to go anywhere. So with the content side of things, what I usually advise for business owners and people that are already running 40, 50, 60 hour a week operations where they don't have a ton of time to build a brand, is you need to set aside and make a commitment for consistency. So set aside a few hours a week. I advise no less than 5 hours a week to get started. 5 hours a week is a big enough commitment where it kind of forces you to actually get into the marketplace, to actually turn on the camera. The other commitment I advise for all founders of companies building a personal brand is make a commitment to posting. And so even if the content isn't ideal, even if the content isn't optimized or exactly what you need to be saying to attract your ideal clients, anything done is better than nothing but perfect, right? So what we want to do is we want to commit to 5 hours a week, and we want to commit to uploading, let's say on YouTube, at least 1 video a week, or on Instagram, at least 5 reels a week. So 1 a day throughout the business week. So this is like kind of where we start, the foundations, the fundamentals of just being consistent and committed to creating content. Now, the second thing is creating the right type of content for your ideal audience. And this goes above and beyond just creating social media content, because the social media content, let's say it's the YouTube video or the Twitter post or the Instagram reel, that's amazing. That's really good foundations. That's the fundamentals. And how I look at it is posting organic, free, accessible content on the internet is how we expose ourselves to a new audience. It's essentially traffic generation or audience building. So what we're doing is we're building an audience by creating this content that goes out to brand new faces, and it also nurtures existing relationships, people that we've met in the past, or active clients. So content creation in that way is awesome. But again, we have to come back to content strategy, which goes deeper than just the front end of video that you're posting. Content strategy comes into a few different things. It comes into overall, what kind of content are you posting on social media, but also depending on who you're working with, a VSL may be better than a webinar, or a document/PDF may be better than a VSL, depending on the audience, right? So if you're working with a highly analytical audience, a highly, let's say they're very busy, they're business owners, they're analytical, a Google document breakdown may serve your ideal client better as a conversion mechanism than a VSL or a webinar where they have to commit to a certain time and a certain place, especially when they don't really know who you are. So how I like to look at this is, first we have to start, the foundation is we start with your ideal client profile. We start with your avatar. Who is your dream client? Who are the people that get the best results when they work with you? Once you have that identified, now you can actually break down and you can look at, well, what kind of content do these type of people consume? What type of platforms do these people like to hang on? What rooms are they already in, and what conversations are they already having? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to be smarter than your audience. You just need to actually listen. I heard this saying a long time ago, which I love, which is, good companies don't have product perfection, they have customer obsession, right? So if you have customer obsession and you actually care about your customers, well, then you're going to go meet them where they are. And so this comes down to the conversation of, what kind of content do they already consume? What type of content do they like to consume, right? So it might be better to, I have a good friend of mine who runs a business operations company that helps companies improve their operations. And his whole process or his whole funnel is through a book, because his ideal clients love to read books. So him writing a book that addresses their core issues, that speaks to their pain points and solves problems for them, That's the best way for him to access his ideal clients. I have another friend who's generated over $200 million using a PDF teaching people how to run their YouTube ads. A great guy, by the way. And the reason he's running a PDF is because his ideal audience is highly technical. They want to know the ins and outs, the nitty gritty of how to run their YouTube ads and exactly what needs to happen in what order for YouTube ads to be successful. Now, the good news is the pitch for him is here's exactly how to do everything, but likelihood is you're already running a 7-figure company and you don't have the time and space to do this yourself. So just book a call with us and we can go ahead and take it off of your plate, or you can come work with us and we can improve the speed in which you get results. And so this is an example of a brilliant content strategy. They're using video production, so they're using short format content and long format content to expose themselves to a new audience, whether it's paid or organic, right? So if I go speak on someone else's podcast, I'm borrowing their audience. If I create a reel and I run ads to it, I'm buying an audience. And if I just post a piece of content organically, well, I'm building my own audience. So I'm either building, borrowing, or buying the audience. But regardless, once I've put out that content and I've generated new eyeballs, I have to create another piece of content which will build a relationship, educate them on what I do, educate them on the value that I provide, and actually create an opportunity for us to work together, create a conversation where we can work together. Now, for me personally, since we're consultative and it's not a one size fits all approach, what we do is we just go straight to a strategy session or a call where we can uncover, what are the goals, what's the current situation, what are the problems that the business founder is facing, and how can we build out that personal brand where it's actually profitable? What level of commitment do they have? What level of consistency can we commit to? What kind of results are we expecting from building a personal brand, and what resources do they already have at their disposal? But that's not the same for everybody. And so again, we have to look at foundationally, who are we talking to? What conversations are they already having? And what format of content is going to be ideal for them? I was at the library the other day picking up some books and some magazines for a project here at the house with my roommates, and I saw something that was really interesting that I want to share with you, which is there was these little purple books, and it was continued education for 50-year-olds and older. And I thought that was so brilliant because they understand their ideal client is not hanging out on webinars, they're not watching VSLs, they're not scrolling TikTok or Instagram. These people, the 50 and older, continued learning. These people are going to libraries, they're having conversations at coffee shops. So what a better place to put their book, what a better place to put essentially their marketing material than actually at the library where these people already hang out. And the likelihood is the library isn't charging them anything to do so. And so you have to figure out what content distribution mechanism works best for your audience. Yeah, you can do this through client research, but you can also just do this by going through the thought exercise of, well, who's my ideal client? What kind of content do they already consume? And how can I put my content in front of them when they're in that content consumption brain mode, where they're already consuming content, they're already watching videos. So how can you just make sure your video is in front of them, or your piece of content, your PDF, your VSL, your webinar, your book? How can you put it in front of them so it's ready to be consumed when they are? And of course, there's a bunch of nuance when it comes to the copywriting and the content optimization. So like, are you making the right kind of videos? Are you making videos with high quality audio, with high quality video, high quality lighting, framing, positioning? So there's a lot of nuance and advanced skills that goes into creating content. The same thing with copywriting, right? Are you using the right words, the right sentence structure? So of course, there's a lot of nuance to marketing. There's a lot of nuance to psychology and influence, but the foundational basic levels, again, is you already need to have a business or a service specialization that's valuable to the marketplace. Otherwise, you're just talking with no purpose. The second thing is you need to be committed and consistent to getting results. The same thing with anything else in life, whether it's fitness or investing, you have to be willing to put in little chunks and invest over time and expect compounding results over time. And then, of course, the last thing is a clear content strategy, understanding if I'm working with, let's say I'm working with medical professionals, like I'm working with pharmacists and surgeons, they don't have the time, nor do they have the interest to watch a VSL, versus sending them a document, they don't have the time nor the interest to watch a webinar, versus sending them a document and a video going over the document is more likely exactly what they're looking for. Is they want, long format VSL, and they want a document that they can break down all the technicals. They don't want to spend their only night a week that's actually with their family sitting on a Zoom that they may not even know how to operate. So you got to figure out what kind of content strategy works best for your audience, what kind of content they actually want to consume, and how can you have conversations that they're already having to include them in that. Hopefully this helps. There's a really just like the most basic 3 things that I see a lot of people trying to build a personal brand falling short on is either they don't have anything to sell, so their content's meaningless, they don't have a clear content strategy, or they're just inconsistent and not committed to getting results. So if you can pair these 3 things, you can build a personal brand. I've seen it done a million times before, and a personal brand is such a great asset because you can reach infinite amounts of people, right? Posting a piece of content can go out to 1 person, 1,000 people, or 1 million people, which is so insane to think about, that this is an infinitely scalable distribution mechanism for your marketing, building a brand. It also decreases client acquisition cost because you build a relationship with your customers. You actually educate them and show them who you are. So you already have a pre-existing relationship before going into a sales conversation without having to know them personally. And there's just a million other benefits to having a personal brand, like being able to hire talent from in-house, like hiring talent from your own audience instead of having to hire a headhunter or a recruiter. You have people coming into your DMs, you have people messaging you consistently, hey, I'd love the opportunity to work with you or to learn from you. So just a ton of benefit across the board. Of course, if you have any questions at all about building a profitable personal brand, go ahead and send me a DM on Instagram. My Instagram is @TheHarrisonColey. So again, that's TheHarrisonColey. So send me a DM on Instagram with the word personal, and we can go ahead and break down a profitable personal brand for you. Thanks so much for watching. As always, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment your favorite part of this video, any key takeaways that you have, or things that you're committed to changing in your content, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.